Hey guys, Andy here from Mediocre Hobbies coming at you with more 3D printed goodness. As you know, big advocate for 3D printing. I love what they do and I love all the companies that I get to work with and show off their awesome stuff. That is what today's video is about. We are going to be doing our monthly video for Dragon Trappers Lodge. Now, every single month they release two bundles. They do a Trapper tier and a Soldier tier. The Soldier tier is designed to be used in miniature agnostic games and gives you a whole selection of miniatures to use as an army. The Trapper tier is based more around D&D encounters. And obviously with the new D&D book out, we're all excited for it. We're all excited to give it a try. They have delved into that and gone back to the traditional roots of D&D with a bunch of models. That is what I was planning to do for today's video. I had printed out this beautiful owlbear sculpt, which I will show you in a moment. And I had it all set in my head. Then I had a look at the Soldier tier. And then I saw these particular miniatures. And it unlocked a memory from my childhood. And before I knew it, I was screaming Redwall at the top of my lungs in my studio like a lunatic, but it made me very, very happy. So I had no choice but to paint up one of these adorable little mouse knights. This must be the earliest memory I can think of falling in love with the fantasy universe. And I'm wondering if there's a lot of people out there who remember this glorious show or the book series it's based on like I do. If you do, make sure you let me know in the comments below. Redwall, was it part of your childhood? I don't know. Before I get into the video, I just want to say a very quick thank you to everyone out there who supports me, especially over on the channel membership and a member of the Patreon. As you guys know, I am doing unique videos every single week just for you guys. So this week you got your hands on the beautiful new Vespid Stingwing miniature. I did a whole tutorial on how to paint that up. That's available for all Patreon members and of course all channel memberships. If you want to get involved and check those videos out, there's links down in the description below. Okay, without further ado, let's dive in and get this awesome mouse knight painted. Okay, this was the owlbear that I was going to do, and as you can see, it is a very crisp, very nice sculpt. It was printed on my Reflex RS printer, the new printer from Hobbies. Currently got a promotion on, so if you want to check the link down below if you're interested in checking out the printer, you can save yourself a bunch of money with the pre-sales as of right now. I think it ends on around the 4th, just if you're curious. So this was the beautiful owlbear, and then of course I printed these two beautiful sculpts of the mice warriors. They're just so cool. This is the one that I'm going to decide to paint up. Got just a little bit of cleaning work still to do for the paint work, and then I can get stuck in. So if any of you out there do not know what I mean by when I screamed Redwall at the beginning of this video, Redwall is a series of books. I haven't actually read any of the books, but it was a TV series that ran from 1999 to 2002. So it literally was a part of my childhood, and it was probably my first real kind of introduction into something fantasy-esque. It stars a mouse named Mathis who lives at Redwall Abbey, which is a fortress under constant siege from evil rats. He constantly sees images of a great heroic mouse on all of the tapestries inside of the abbey, and he soon learns that he is going to be, or it's his destiny to be, the successor of this great warrior. So basically, he finds the equipment of that awesome old hero, and his war cry when he charges in is for Redwall, so for the Abbey, and it's just a glorious, adorable story. I love it so much. I may actually now go back and rewatch some of the episodes just to really capture that nostalgia, but I really enjoy it. Dragon Trappers, of course, does beautiful sculpts of miniatures. And like I said at the beginning, different, whether you want to do a miniature agnostic style game and get an army's worth of miniatures, or whether you want to do a D&D style campaign, there's different tiers for everything. There's an all-encompassing tier as well, so you can get all the different sculpts. They're pretty brilliant. They're nice stuff, and they do really interesting stuff every single month. So if you want to check them out, I'll leave them linked down in the description below. So the models got sprayed black and then sprayed a light gray color, and then we started applying all the base coats. So a standard Guilliman flesh skin tone, orc flesh over the green robes, flesh tears red over his red cape, lead belcher over all of his metallic-y bits, so his cuirass and all his armor plates and the panel of his, or the blade of his sword. Gorgunter fur was then used to go over and kind of differentiate his face, try and find all that fur. It is, of course, a beautiful color for that, but obviously we're going to leave his adorable little nose and his gigantic ears are going to be left in that skin tone. And we're going to spend some time highlighting those and making it look really nice. The model is tiny. Like, it's like the size of my thumb from the knuckle up. Like, it's tiny. So it's quite a lot of fun to paint and really kind of push yourself to the nth degree with it. Really try those highlights out. So because I normally do this, I'm going to continue this trend because I really do enjoy using them. Is I'm going to be using the Too Thin Coats range of paints for the layering stages, for most of the layering stages of this model. I avoid using those paints when I'm painting Games Workshop for the most part, because I think most of the time people who are painting Games Workshop are going to be using Games Workshop paints. But when I'm not painting Games Workshop, I tend to stray over and grab my boxes of Too Thin Coats paint and get stuck in, because like I said, I really enjoy using them and I think I get quite nice results. So I'm going to continue that fad with this. Rycon Flesh Shade was of course applied all over the miniature, acts as a perfect shade for all those rich warm tones of the fur, his skin, the red cape, the gold. It doesn't do amazing work with the silver, but it doesn't do terrible stuff with the silver. Definitely easily layerable up. So I will take the trade on the metallic, just the silver to be honest, for it to look really nice on everything else. The Too Thin Coats range of paints, we're going to go for Dwarf Flesh and then Elf Flesh to highlight his, like I said, his adorable squeaky little nose and his big round ears, which I just love. It's so much fun to paint them. And they're so well sculpted. There's loads of like inner ear creases that you can spend a lot of time like highlighting properly and really making them stand out. And yeah, I honestly, it was just such a joy to paint models. I love doing my 3D printed videos because obviously I'm chugging away on things like Warhammer 40,000 and Heresy and Age of Sigmar to create these big, large scale armies. And although I enjoy it, it is a lot of work. So when I get to take a break and just do this one random model that doesn't have to be done for any specific reason or any specific way, it really is a breath of fresh air, and it's something I recommend all of you guys do if you can. If you don't have access to 3D printing, that's totally fine. Just dig through your backlog, find something that doesn't fit with any of your projects right now. It's just something to build and paint for the sake of building and painting, and get stuck in and do it. I don't think you'll regret it. As you can see, going along those ears with that elf flesh highlight now, but it's obviously going a lot less paint applied. You just want a very scratchy little highlight, and then going into those inner ear sections as well. It could be a Ferengi with ears like that. Okay, a dry rust brown is going to be the mid-tone for the fur, and obviously with this, it's not like a normal highlight because we're trying to emulate the fur texture. So we're going for kind of sharp, streaky lines, but obviously going in the same direction. So for his cheek, I went from like his cheek and then pull those down. And then from the top of the head, think of it like a slick back, because obviously that's the way the fur would go. You try to create those, the illusion of hair. So when we jump up to the Satire Brown, we're going to do the same thing again, but lighter, just less, just these tiny scratchy lines, and should make this thing pop. Now, as I'm painting it now, like you really can't get over how tiny the head is, so getting those tiny lines in there is a little bit more difficult than I'd like to admit, but we can make it work. I also want to know how many people out there know what Redwall is. Like, is it just a crazy childhood dream of mine? Was it not a huge part of everyone else's childhood? I know one friend of mine who remembers it very fondly. So at least one person I know. So it did really exist, I swear. Time to layer up the cape, and this time we're jumping back to standard Games Workshop paints because Mephiston Red, Evil Sun Scarlet as a mid-tone and a highlight over pretty much any of the red contrasts just make me happy. They just work. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. First coat done. Time to jump over to, I didn't drop my swear, shh. Evil Sun Scarlet. To do the final highlight. Once again, it's a very scratchy, very minimalistic style highlight on the very kind of highest points of the folds, and you're not looking for like solid coat, you're looking to get a bit of texture going on it. Yeah, take your time, enjoy it. I threw some contrast green and contrast gray onto his base for the foliage and the rocks. I didn't end up highlighting them or doing anything more with them. I like them kind of being dark and grim, and making the model on top kind of pop a little bit more. I found that really fun, so I'm going to keep doing it. Goblinoid green for the highlighting on the fabric. The fabric being green is definitely a nod back to the actual character who, if you look at him, he does wear red and green. So I wanted to tie that into it as much as possible, make it seem like the proper character that he is, even going with the tones of like his face and that like chestnutty brown fur. That's all because it looked like Mathis. He is Mathis in my head. Originally I was going to do like a red or yellow eyes, but looking back on the cartoon image, he had black eyes, so I'm going to do that as well. To yeah, just do it as much as possible. Very enjoyable break from traditional models. This, it's so nice. And like I said, I've printed out 2 of them, so whether I print the other one or whether I paint up the other one, or maybe I'll gift it to a friend of mine who might enjoy painting it up and stretching his artistic muscles. Maybe Laura would like to paint it. We'll have to check. Maybe we'll see. Would she like to paint it? But yeah, adding the bright silver highlight to all of the armor, the gold, and of course up and down the blade will be kind of one of the last touches we do. We just have to get in there with a little bit of black for those eyes. And that will be the last detail to paint on it. I could have gone a little bit more on the eyes, I think, but I just went for one single black coat. I thought about going in for an extra highlight and adding a gloss varnish to make it pop. But in the end, I just liked it being that kind of flatter tone. I didn't want these glazed over eyes. Here is an example of how small the model is next to the owl bear that we had at the start of the video. And here is some adorable little images of Mathis in all his glory with his ragged cloak, his green tunic, his plate armor, his mega sword, ready to defend Redwall Abbey. And there we have it, guys, my adorable little mouse knight, which of course shall henceforth be known as Mathis, as it was so adorably named in the show. He wasn't adorable though, he was a total badass, never get that confused. He's a hero. I'm so happy I got to paint this miniature up. It's really, really adorable. It's tiny, so hopefully editor and partner in crime has managed to capture the footage in some way, shape or form so you guys can see it, because it was very difficult to record. So let's figure that out. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. It's something a little bit different. Make sure you check out Dragon Trappers Lodge. Like I said, D&D is all the rage right now with the new edition, and they have an unbelievable selection of awesome classic D&D tropes ready in this month's bundle. Make sure you go check them out. I'm sure they will appeal to so many more people, but for me, the little mouse was just too hard to resist. So yeah, make sure you check out all the different ways to support the channel down in the description below. Patreon, channel membership, like, comment, subscribe, do all those good things. Make sure you're subscribed. It's important. Do it. Subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video.